what does this say? New managing moderation can support your channel in more ways. Learn more now. Close. Okay, I guess I'm live. And something popped up on my screen and I was like trying to read that. But welcome back to my channel. It's an Amber thing. I'm Amber. I thought I would hop on today and give you guys a little update. I'm on my way to work and I've been thinking a lot about coming back and kind of restarting my channel. I kind of just dropped off the face for a couple of years and just stopped talking. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think one was I felt like I was coming to YouTube and crying a lot. Like the Jehovah's Witness subject, the subject that we talk about, was one that, even though I was like trying so hard to heal, trying so hard to feel better about everything, but I wasn't feeling a lot better. I was just hurting all the time. So it would come out in my videos, and I can't promise that that's not happening this time too, but it wasn't like a healing journey finished for me, and I felt completely healed, and I just stopped. But life also got busy, and so instead of continuing to try to make the time to make videos, I just stopped. It just was easier that way. I didn't have to cry about it, and I didn't have to make the time to cry. But recently I have decided to go to therapy, and so I thought maybe you guys would be interested in that journey. And it's just for life altogether, you know. But I figured I'd give you guys just kind of a little update from when I left off to now, what's going on in my life. And then as I have sessions, maybe I can just share those with you. And I'll probably do them early like this, so probably no one will be watching until later, and I'm okay with that. So let's see, I think we left off, I have gone back and I've kind of watched some of my videos recently, which is always kind of weird to do, but I kind of was wondering, like, you know, I just kind of wanted to see like where I was and what was going on. And I think I kind of left off. Well, I did one video a little bit more recently, within I think the year, about a sister who was a good friend of mine at one point, who came to visit me when things started to change in the organization. And but before that, I think it had been like years. I think that it was maybe during COVID time. I think I even did hop on and do like one my COVID story video. And then I don't really think I've done much since then. So what's going on with me? What's happened in this gap of time that we haven't been talking? So I think even back then I was doing real estate at the time prior, when we were talking before. And I still am a realtor, and I still do real estate a little bit here and there. But during COVID, I decided that they had so much red tape around real estate and showing property and all these extra forms, and they wanted to trace and track everybody and everything that, everybody went in and out of houses, and it just got to be too much of a pain in the butt for me. I'm not so much that track and trace kind of person, so it was just kind of like, I don't really want to do this right now. And I started looking for something that wasn't that. And I ended up finding something that I really enjoyed. And it was, for me, I really enjoyed real estate because it gave me the flexibility to work when my kids were in school and then to be home when the kids were home. And that was always really important to me. I wanted to be able to provide for them, but I didn't want to so much work during the time when they were home. So real estate was perfect for that. And I like real estate. I like that whole thing a lot. But so I found something nonprofit that still had to do with housing, and I got involved in that. And so I didn't so much have that flexibility anymore to just hop on and make videos whenever. It was like my time had to be a little bit more structured because I was working a little bit past the time that the kids would come home. And so once the kids were home, I wanted to be able to focus on them. So I was doing that. I'm still doing that. In between, we moved. I purchased a home, and so we moved. And that was, if anybody's seen the last video that I made, the person that came to visit me from the organization, I was so surprised because I had moved. I bought a house, somewhere else, and so when she was at the door, I was like super shocked about that. But anyways, so we moved. The kids both are very heavily involved in sports, and so one of my sons, he plays basketball, he does track, and he was playing football for a little while, so he was doing 3 sports, which was intense. And then we also, for him, we have a basketball team that we play in, an AAU team that we play in outside of school. And so we do a lot of traveling for that. So we travel, all throughout California, and then we'll go to other states to compete as well. That really made the schedule even more busy. And at first, both of my boys were playing basketball, and that made it a little bit easier because they were in the same places, generally playing for the same team, so we were all together. And then my youngest son decided he did not want to do basketball anymore. He wanted his own sport, he wanted to do his own thing, and I was happy for him for that, because I think that he originally just started playing basketball because his older brother was playing basketball, and so it was just like, I'm going to do what my older brother does. And then he started to realize that really wasn't maybe the thing that he wanted to do. So he tried football. So he ended up in like a Pop Warner, football league. And he had a lot of fun doing that. But it was time consuming because, one son in basketball and then one in football, and you wouldn't think the two overlap because their seasons aren't, right on top of each other, but they did overlap. So, because I think it was more because we had the AAU team, and so, we're like trying to track for basketball and still be present for football that was here in town. And as, just being one person, that I found that to be super, super challenging. I know, like, there were times where I would send Braden with his coach, and he would be, somewhere up north. I would be with Avery at his football game, and then right after we would run home, change, and head up north to be present for Braden's basketball game. So that's kind of been our routine over the past couple of years that you guys haven't seen me. That's what we've been doing. It hasn't been a whole lot of anything but just wake up, work, sports, go to sleep, wake up, work, sports, go to sleep. And our schedules run long. Like, football is, we don't get home from football practice until about maybe 9 o'clock at night, and then we're still trying to bathe and cook and dinner and get ready and still be bright-eyed for the next day, So that's kind of what's been going on. Not a lot of super exciting things, but very memorable things, things that I definitely am happy to be a part of with my children. It makes me happy to sit in the stands and film their every move, all their plays, and then, I do that and post on social media a lot. Like, most of everything that you'll see on social media from me is like my kids playing sports and how they're doing in that area. And but so lately, I have a really hard time saying this part too, because I feel like in the organization, they put a real stigma around, how lost you're going to be without the organization. And I kind of have been feeling that way. Let me get this straight. I'm not feeling lost because of the organization. I think that the stigma is around that, and so it's like hard for me to talk about how I feel, because I have that ingrained in my head that it's, it has to be this one thing, but it's not. And so I don't want to talk about it because I don't want people to think that it's this one thing. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe you can relate, maybe not. But I've been feeling really just sad and depressed, and I don't really know why. So I just decided, like, I'm going to go back to therapy. I'm not go back, but I'm going to go to therapy and try and get some of this stuff worked out. So I've had 2 sessions so far, and I really like the therapist. He's a really nice guy. I was really nervous about that because I have a really hard time, and I really have a feeling that I have a hard time because of the organization. Like, I have a hard time trusting systems, I have a hard time just believing that I'm safe in any capacity. And I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's a thing that happened because I grew up as a JW